WINNMedia 98.9.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azim, featuring Jade, me, myself, and I. What's happening, guys? What's happening? The time is now 8:03 a.m., and if you're under the sound of my voice and you're not at your work desk, you are late. You are late. Your boss is looking for you. You have about 2 more minutes to clock in before it's problems. But anyhow, let me take off this mask off my neck since Azim ain't reach yet. What is going on, guys? It is Tuesday. Wow. Just know we're going to be Friday. Just know the week is going to be finished. A matter of fact, tomorrow starts a new month. Yes, tomorrow is the 1st of December, which means the Christmas season has officially begun. I mean, technically, it begins in November for a lot of us, because I've been watching y'all buy up all the Christmas trees and the Christmas decorations, preparing y'all yards for what is going to be another Christmas season, and I love to see it. I always love driving past houses with the extravagant decor, which I feel like has been fleeting over the last couple of months, but bills to pay. But for people who still continue that tradition, I really love to see it. A matter of fact, I think there's a competition happening or supposed to be happening for the corporate businesses who has the best decor. So I am excited to see that, honestly. But yeah, we're here, we're back. We're going to talk some tea. We're going to talk to some interesting people today, as usual. But before we get into all of that, let me just say this. I don't know what weird tradition this is for men, especially, but walking up to a woman that you aren't friends with, that you aren't close with, that you do not communicate with in a way that would indicate that you guys are or have some type of relationship. Walking up to them and asking them about their weight is weird. I don't know if y'all knew this, but it is. So it's quite strange. So this morning I was coming to work and this random guy, who I knew from school, but we aren't, as I said, friends or anything. We don't communicate in that way. He just walks up to me and said, "Good morning, you happy with your weight loss?" And I'm like, huh? Because I swore I misheard what he said. But no, I didn't. He was just like, "Yeah, you happy with your weight loss?" And I was like, what kind of question is this? Like, what kind of question is this for you to ask somebody at 7:30 in the morning? And then he was like, "What make you gain answer? It's just a question, you know." I'm like, bruh, okay. How are you mad at me because I think your question is weird? Anywho, please let's don't do that anymore, men. Or women, I don't know if women do this. I don't feel like this is a woman thing. Like, I don't think women walk up to men and just be like, "You happy with your weight loss? Or you happy with your weight gain?" When I see him reach, I'm going to ask him. But for me, I have not experienced that with a man. I've never decided to just walk up to a random man and ask him these things. So let's not do this anymore. Okay, okay. Lesson over. Okay, so let's see. Yesterday, I know we had a lot of ranting happening because certain things that are happening in this country is quite aggravating. However, I'm not going to cuss about it today. Or as I said, women comment on a random physical attributes all the time. Yeah, stop doing that. It's weird. It's weird. People, you don't like. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I don't feel. I don't feel like I need to walk up to a man and be like, "Oh, how your weight loss going on? How your weight going?" I feel like it's a Caribbean thing, Like I feel like we prerequisite conversations with talk about weight loss and weight gain. Strange behavior. I don't know why we do it. I don't know why we do it, but yeah, I feel like it's a Caribbean thing. As them don't message me no more. You're supposed to be here. Don't message me no more. Women comment on hair loss. Oh God. Yeah, don't do that either. If you are a woman and you're out here commenting on men's hair loss, please stop. I don't know why that's appropriate conversation, but please, me I beg you, don't do it. Do not do it. What? No, I can't read that one. As if I can't read that one, I cannot read that comment at all. They're going to take me off the radio. So I'm just going to move on. It is tea time. Hee. I can't sing. So that's the best I can give y'all today. But it is time for your COVID report as of Monday, 29th November. So we have 0 confirmed cases for the last 24 hours. Good things. And our active cases are now down to 22, giving us a total number of cases of 2,782. You think they're going to stop doing the COVID reports when we hit 0? Like, how long is this going to continue? I've been wondering about this. Like, at what number will we stop sending out the COVID reports? I know that there's a new strain, Omicron. I think that's what it said, Omicron or something like that. Yeah, the new strain that is plaguing Africa and seems to be in Europe now. And if it's in Europe, I need the people in charge to realize that they need to just pay attention, and we may need to stop a little bit of flights here and there, just to be safe or not finish with the quarantine. But if this new strain is causing problems like they said it is, let's be reactive and not proactive. I don't want to have to go back through this whole COVID, oh my God, we got to lock down and we have to do this and we have to do that. And yeah, let's just be reactive. We're on a good trajectory right now. We're literally below 50, below 30 active cases, and we want to stay there. Don't know how feasible that is, but I'm pretty sure that all of the people in charge, all of the people under the sound of my voice, watching on the lives, we all agree that we would really like to stay um, below 30 if that is doable. But yeah, we don't want to deal with this again. We've been dealing with this for almost 2 years. We don't want to go back to where we were. It is quite depressing where we were actually. If you think about um, the time before now, it was it was such a dark period. Like being home locked down, not knowing what you're going to do, losing your job, being made redundant, all these things. Not knowing where your next dollar going to come from, the people in the tourism industry not being able to work, earn, feed their families, all these things, and not even the tourism industry alone, the entertainment industry, which is still under these things. So, but good question. We have a vaccine now, so we're going to see how this plays into all these decisions, because we are at 80% according to the powers that be. We are at 80% first dose, and let me see what second dose is so I could see how far we've come. Yeah, we're right there, man. We're at 73.7% second dose as well. So, like, yeah, we, as they like to boast, our vaccination rate is one of the highest in the Caribbean, one of the highest in the world, yada, yada, yada. So, let's see how that going to affect the decisions. If in fact this does start happening country to country, if the bigger countries can't control the spread of this new variant, let's see what our little nation will do. I have a pretty good idea. I might be wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. But guys, continue to remain vigilant. Wear your mask, sanitize, wash your hands, do all the good things that they've been telling you to do over the last 2 years. If you're going to get vaccinated, do so. If you're not, well, that's on you. But just make sure that you take the necessary non-pharmaceutical precautions and remain safe. That's all we could ask of you guys. Question. When did we become a U.S. housing community? When did we become a U.S. housing state? Because I don't feel like it's me alone realize that it is very difficult to find a place to rent, a place to live in St. Kitts that is not quoted in some ungodly U.S. price. When did we become this country? Because I remember it was easy for you to go on one of the, nice little sites that we have, or just, call up somebody and be like, hey, I'm looking at a house for rent. Do you know anything? And they would say, yeah, man, my friend down the road have a nice little apartment there for like 1,000 AC, 2-bedroom. My friend have a nice little unfurnished there for $800 a month. But no, boy, times have changed. Times have definitely changed. Now a 1-bedroom apartment is 550 to 900 USD in this Eastern Caribbean country. What a time. What a time to try to be alive. Because what is this? I don't know. I don't know. Are we going to regulate these things? Are we going to start? Like, I feel like there should be some regulation on rent pricing. Because some of y'all ridiculous. Some of y'all, honestly ridiculous. Why is a 1-bedroom house, a 1-bedroom apartment, costing up to 900 USD? Things going up in this country, everything but the amount of money we're paid as adults trying to live. So, I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be some regulations on these things before all of us become homeless. And all of the students are nice and cozy and comfy. Because I feel like that's it. I feel like a lot of people here looking at how to make money off the students, forgetting that students aren't the only people that live here. Yeah, we still have a whole Caribbean country full of people that actually want to live somewhere. I don't know if y'all know. I'm aware because I want to live somewhere. Azim is aware because he wants to live somewhere. But I don't know if the rest of y'all are aware that, yeah, we still live in an easy country, man. We don't get paid in USD. Well, some of us. Congratulations to you guys.
Jade,
What? What are you shouting? Dude.
it's because everybody want the Americans to come live in the place.
Oh, so just forget the rest of the country. Okay, cool. Well,
Watch here. When the bank's
guess.
running you down about mortgage.
oh, so we pay your mortgage. I know, friend, I know. I figured, because if you're going to charge me 900 US, it got to be. If I am paying you 900 US for
But who else can pay the mortgage except the person living in it?
Oh,
Somebody got paid.
you're right.
If the bank looking for $900 at the end of the month,
900 US or 900 EC?
let's say the bank, okay, realistically.
Because you know the bank don't charge you US, you know.
No.
They
Oh,
don't
yes,
pay?
they do.
They do?
As a matter of fact.
Oh my God.
See, all of that is part of the system, eh?
Oh my God. We doomed, you know?
You get more favorable
Mm-hmm.
when you go to the bank for the loan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bank deals with you differently if you tell them whether it's the reality afterwards or not. If you tell the bank, here's why people are going to live in there. They deal with you different.
Oh my God.
I'm telling, look,
What are we? Where we going in this country?
the bank deal with you different. If you get the US loan and you plan to earn US money, they deal with you differently. It's more favorable. So that's what you gotta understand there. Like the thing set up so from as Capleton the from birth. But like I saying, if the bank charging you, we way down. So like I saying, if the bank can charge you, let's say, realistically, $1,300 a month. And for those of you who are looking to do real estate, listen to your Uncle Royal.
I hope you're about to tell him some really good advice.
Yes.
That will help me find a livable
No.
home. No? Wow.
I
so
don't.
I'm going to just be homeless.
I don't have no. What you have to do is then
I'm like a regular house, right?
what you have to do, that's an option. But what you have to do is like we've been saying, you could build a house and have that person pay your rent. But anyway.
Let's continue the cycle, eh?
What I'm saying is exactly.
Wow, that's great.
What I'm saying is when the bank come and they say they want the $1,300 at the end of the month, I can't charge you $1,300. Cause then you know who also looking for money? The insurance. Inland Revenue looking for land tax. They're looking for property tax. Right? Then when something go wrong, you want me to find the money to fix it, right? Because it's my house, it's in your house. So then I have to be taking some money monthly to make sure that when something go wrong, I have money to fix it for you. It's a maintenance, right? And then what's the sense of me doing this if I don't have even $100 to put towards my child's school fee at the end of the month?
Okay, so you're saying ain't really the renter's fault?
No.
It's the bank fault. Okay, let me talk to the banks then.
No, it's the whole system, Jay, the deep. What happens is
so who got
the cost, you could cost the bank,
okay,
and you could also cost the hardware stores because the cost to build is ridiculous.
Oh my God! Okay.
The cost to build is ridiculous. That's what going on.
Okay. So renters, you have the hook for a little bit.
They the last. Them is like the street dealers.
Oh.
And the corner, then they connect.
Okay. So the bank is the connect.
Yeah, the bank is the connect. The bank is giving you the check where I'm coming from.
Okay.
And then above the connect there's the Colombians.
Oh my God. So who is the Colombians?
The Colombians is the entire system
okay.
that have like that makes building materials so expensive.
Okay, so how about we with all of these things that we realize, because I feel like this is something that we've, as an adult, you would notice long time. When is the money paid to the people who living in this country going to match the expenses of living in this country? You don't think that would be fair? Like, if you all notice everything going up but your wages, right? You
Yep.
ain't think the wages is the problem.
Been saying that.
Let's fix it. Okay, let's start there. Renters, I'm sorry. Not really, but still, I'm sorry. How about the people in charge set wages to a place where it is easier for people in this country to live? You don't think that would make more sense? I don't understand. It's money. Y'all just print. Money is something that y'all find and print for ridiculous things. So how about y'all find and print it for people to be able to live? You don't feel like they just find money for all kind of things? Because it's literally banknotes that they print, you know.
I mean, printing money has its own issues, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, because I've seen them find money to do all kind of things, you know, to write off all kind of debts from late and all kind of story, which in late still on me, yeah, but anyway, I'm cool. That's for another day. I'm gonna take up my ticket.
But Jade, like I'm telling you, in the meantime, people still have to live, and so I think what is important on the side of just regular people, guys, you're gonna have to manage. You get it?
Nope.
Hey, them imitating no way.
Bye. Yeah, come back.
You're gonna have to find ways to make your money stretch. You understand? You're gonna have to find ways. And if that or you're gonna have to find ways to supplement your income. Because while we wait for them to to pay people a wage that allows them to live comfortably in the country, you still have to live.
Indeed.
You still have to live.
But the issue with that is no, that means you may have to be working 3 jobs just to supplement.
No, that's the problem. You don't work jobs.
You work side hustles.
You know, like so in other words then.
Don't mind me.
Say you have a job, but you're gonna have to find a way to either okay. And this is something that y'all been seeing, 'cause y'all be on Instagram all the time, but it's true. People in from low economic situations, they work for money. People in higher economic situations, their money work for them. You're gonna have to find a way to make your money work for you. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Good morning. Like that, you're going to have to find a way to make money work for you. You know, easier said than done. But
really, I see. Really, like when I say youngsters, they're talking about 14-year-olds in St. Kitts right now who taking their mother credit card. When I say credit card, it ain't gotta be a credit card. Their mother debit card, shoes online and selling it back for $300 more. They're right in St. Kitts. I see youngsters making literally $1,200, $1,400 extra dollars a month selling shoes.
right. Good enterprise. You know, it's nice to see that entrepreneurial spirit, because I think that's lacking. But to Jade, you can't just print money and it's not backed by reserves, because what that leads to is hyperinflation. Okay, and in any case, it's not up to us alone in determining how much money is in circulation in the OECS region, in the EC Currency Union. Okay, it depends on all the other members of the union as well, in the central bank. Okay, so we don't have as much control over that as you might think. All right, what you all are talking about here, though, is something even more basic. There's a mismatch in the economy. The mere fact that you have so many thousands of people getting subsidies from the government, and this is even before COVID. I'm talking about, for instance, with the $500. Everybody will jump and say, yeah, that's good. But actually, that's bad. What that is showing is that, one, the government has excess money to spend. And wherever you have government with excess money to spend, that suggests that somebody is being overtaxed, or that government revenues, right, are so great that it's not investing that money, that revenue, in places that it should. Because if we believe that the private sector is what drives the economy, that provides a lot of employment, that provides investment, then government has no right with all that cash. Because we all know that government are woefully inefficient in dispensing money. Okay? You just asked how many people. Remember what the $500 was intended to do, the PAP was intended to do. It was supposed to be a subvention to people who needed it, who were below the was it $3,000 or $2,000 dollar threshold. But you try and find out how many people who got that money is now off of it. In other words, what it does is foster dependency. It does not encourage people to try and get more money. Because if they get more money straight out the door, they might lose that 500. Okay? And so what you have is more people going on and less people coming off. And that is bad for the economy. Right? The money should have been, well, you should have reduced taxes in the first place. Okay, maybe reduce that. Okay, that would have allowed for spurring more growth, as opposed to just dishing it out just like that. Some people obviously need help, but when you're going to tell me that thousands of people in our small economy are going to be depending on that, then we have a problem. Okay? So they need to get the economy back in sync. The government needs to do what it's supposed to do in the first place, which is encourage investment, get foreign direct investment, get more jobs. Nothing can replace the dignity of hard work, right? Most people will tell you they prefer to work to earn, be independent, and earn their way, earn their keep, as opposed to getting some handout from the government, right? That is not the way to develop a thriving country, right? So it points to a mismatch that we're going to have to take care of at some point. Okay then.
Yeah. But Jade, I think that we're in a position now where let's getting back to what you were talking about. The housing market, it's difficult for people at pretty much every level, every income level. Like, I mean, even I'm looking at some of these developments that are like coming up. You know, some of these housing developments and thing, and you know, this is something that you would want for yourself, maybe as a young professional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe, you know, you went up to college, you got a job in upper management. Perhaps you're, like I said, a young professional, doctor, lawyer, something like that. I mean, you look at it, it's still difficult for you to do it on your own salary. A lot of these things, the only way that locals are really could even think about going into some of these housing developments is, you know, if they're married. So if your husband or your wife is also a young professional.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's difficult to really find places to live. And I think what's happening now, and this is one of the things that we might have missed in the whole housing talk that we had just a while ago, is that a lot of the housing is aimed towards people who might not necessarily be from here.
Yeah, I realize.
It's not for us.
I'm totally aware of this, just by the point that, again, we live in an easy country, but every time you look at the prices quoted, they're all in USD. So I'm like, okay, clearly.
Yeah.
Aha.
Got him?
Yeah, man.
Yes, I.
What a here, man.
But
Boy.
yeah, but again, I think that's difficult for a lot of the especially new homeowners. So you want to go into a new building, you want maybe even if it's unfurnished and thing, you want to you want to live in a certain area or whatever it is, and there's a cost attached to that. There's a cost attached to that, and maybe
I know there's a cost, but
no, but what I'm saying is maybe looking at what the cost is, you recognize that the salaries that locals earn just might not be it puts it out of the reach, puts them out of the reach. Like even if like sometimes I tell people just look what you think that person mortgage is. Like what you think that person mortgage is, that alone would tell you if I could afford it or not, because they can't just charge you the mortgage.
You'd have to charge on the mortgage plus additionals.
Yeah, plus some of the other things that I just spoke about, and that wasn't even everything, because sometimes you're paying some of the bills as well.
Yep.
As the homeowner, right? Maybe you're paying the electricity, or you're paying not the electricity, maybe the water bill.
Yeah.
So you're paying some of the amenities, right?
Most times the amenities the only thing they don't include is electricity. Everything else they usually include, which kind of makes it a little better, but still, oh my God.
Yeah, you got to.
Living in this country is difficult, boy.
Living anywhere right now is difficult.
Well, I only live here, so
I got you. But yeah, Jade.
Hopefully we can figure it out.
But Jade.
Yeah?
The studio was brightened up just a bit a few minutes ago.
Of course, as usual.
As usual.
You could know it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You could
just.
As in, I think he brought to come avenge the death.
He come back?
No, I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's a different one.
It's an attack.
But that will not hinder the fact that Nama is looking so exquisite this morning, this bright Tuesday morning.
Hey.
So let's take a quick break so the people could see her as well.
I see Nama last night, they were mentioning to recognize me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nama, where was last night? Uh-huh.
No, she was in good places.
No, man,
no, she was in good places.
You should let me dig a bit. You see how she face change just so that you
because she thought. Yeah, but
that's what they should let me cook.
She thought to see her.
Boy, that was face change. What time, boy? Like, woo.
Yeah, she thought.
It's okay, man. It's good places. Don't worry. But guys, we will be right back with more LT. Stay tuned.
Some pride in your country. Volunteer to clean where it's dirty. Tourism development needs a healthy environment. Whenever we litter, we threaten our survival. So those who engage in it should be treated like criminals. So don't be afraid at all if they call you an informer. Report those who endanger our future. So if you really love this blessed land, situation demands attention. Think about the future generation. Do what we can to preserve this island. The laws for littering we must enforce. We have to let justice take its course. If you are a proud citizen, you have the right, you have a reason to save this land from destruction. You have an obligation to become involved in anything which affects this nation.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Hey guys, and welcome back to WINNMedia SKN. And as we were stating just before the break, we're joined by Nama here from the Solid Waste Management Corporation for Talking Trash. Nama, how are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing great.
It's always a pleasure, of course. On Tuesday, we look forward to seeing you, having you come and join us today.
Thank you.
And you always come with just such amazing information, timely and necessary. So what are we talking about today?
Well, today I'm going to touch on a few topics. First of all, I'm going to touch on the conference facility and what it is we offer, those services that we offer at the conference facility. We're going to talk about Section 36 of the Solid Waste Management Corporation Act. And we're going to talk on our favorite topic, illegal dumping. Yes.
I had a bone to pick for that, but anyway, when you finish.
We got to pick that one. We got to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you simmer so long.
You're going to let me simmer? Yeah, because I left it for last.
By the time you reach, I don't upset enough. So
I try not to be. I'm going to try not to be put on that motherly. You know, you have that tone when your mom...
No, we're going to have to talk to them today.
Yes, I feel so.
We're going to have to talk to them.
I feel so. Mm-hmm. So, well, good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us on yet another segment of Talking Trash right here on WINNFM 98.9. Talking Trash comes your way every Tuesday morning from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm your presenter, Nama. And today's segment, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be discussing those three topics. So, as some of you may know, we do have the conference facility that we have available at Taylor's Range. And the advert usually plays right before we begin, but for some of you who miss it or skip, especially you YouTubers who skip to when we start to talk and don't listen to the adverts before, I'm going to take this opportunity just to reiterate what the advert says. So in the conference facility, we do have small and large meeting rooms. So we have the main hall, and then we have two small rooms, the Cactus and the Bamboo Lounge, where you can have meetings, you can have activities, baby showers, weddings, all of that. And yesterday we had our very first virtual concert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
We had a virtual concert last night, and I'm sure some of you logged on and shared the live and had a great time. Definitely, with the birthday celebrant. That's what you saw me?
She was.
So how you saw me when I logged on?
She was working up hard before the task force come. Yeah.
Oh. You should take a little video and come show me. But
No. We don't think
once
people
there
like
is
that.
no evidence, it never happened. Okay? Once there's no evidence, and I mean hardcore evidence,
I subscribe to that.
then it never
thinking as well.
happened. That was not me. I have a twin sister.
Named
Or
Nama.
something who looks
You're
like
welcome
me,
to his
you
number,
know.
No, I mean the person came in and been like, "Hey, everybody, this is Nama." But it could have been a twin sister
Yeah, well, that's a top.
It could have been because
with the same name.
You know, there are lots of people named Nama. You know.
Yeah.
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 Right. Not really, but yeah.
Plus, the person, you know, they don't always speak too well, so maybe they mispronounced it. So I hope he's not listening.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic yesterday, and it was a great experience. And given the COVID restrictions, I believe everyone who was there saw an opportunity to have something similar in the future. And so I encourage all of you to I believe it probably is still on social media. I believe the phrase log on and share the live will probably give it away. And so go ahead, log on, share the live, and you will see what took place, and you will see what might be an opportunity for you or how you can utilize that facility. We also have some kitchen facilities, which was also utilized last night, I believe, at least the fridge. We definitely have parking facilities, and so you can securely park within the on the premises, and there's usually enough space for spillage as well in terms of numbers, but with COVID restrictions, we don't really expect much spillage because the numbers should be limited. We definitely have ramps and elevators to accommodate persons with disabilities, as well as caterers, decorators who may be carrying large items or heavy items and may not want to, go up the steps with those, or for those of us who just don't want to go up the steps, you can take the elevator as well. Tables and chairs, we provide that, but if you do wish to bring in your own, you're more than welcome to do so. We do also have tablecloths, but if you want something fancier, then I would suggest you do bring in your own. Then one of the most important things is that we usually have someone there on hand to assist at all times. And so, and persons usually definitely appreciate that. So for further information, you can visit or contact our headquarters on Taylor's Range and ask to speak to Miss Drew, or call 465-9507. That's 465-9507. So that's the cheery topic that we've covered for today. And then we're moving right on to Section 36. And Section 36 of the Act speaks to public events. So I'm going to read Section 36. It's pretty short, so it's not going to really take up much of our time. But Section 36, 1, a person who holds any gathering, meeting, or event which is open to the public and takes place wholly or in part on state land shall apply sufficient litter bins for the event and shall ensure that all litter on the site is properly disposed of within 24 hours of the end of the gathering, meeting, or event. 2, a person who contravenes Section 1 commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction, A, to the penalties prescribed in paragraph A of the third schedule. I recall we did have we had an entire segment dedicated to these. And the third schedule, paragraph A, is definitely $5,000 to $25,000. So that's the penalty. And that B, to an order ordering him to undertake for a period not exceeding 3 months such task by way of community service as the court may order, or to both fine and order. So this is the time where we have lots and lots of activities and festivities. And so we know individuals will definitely be having events. And so we are encouraging persons to adhere to that because the time for leniency has passed.
Do things time now.
Yes.
Business time.
We've been very lenient over the past, and I think it's now time to be a lot firmer. We were firm, yes, and I believe we really took into consideration individuals' ignorance, for lack of a better word. And I know it's usually purported that ignorance is bliss. Just like the saying, what is it? Great minds think alike, though fools seldom differ. Now persons usually just say great minds think alike and everybody's kiki. Oh yes. But fools also seldom differ.
Indeed.
Right? So you might think your idea is such a great idea, but probably not. So
especially not right now.
Yes. So I know that saying, in terms of the ignorance is bliss, it actually originates from a poem from I believe it's like in the industrial age, 1700s, 1800s, somewhere thereabout. And it goes, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. So persons are believing that, well, if it's blissful to be ignorant in that particular scenario, then obviously it will be folly to be wise. But in this instance, I will definitely tell you that 'tis not wise to be ignorant.
Indeed.
And so you being ignorant of the law or playing ignorant to the facts of the law will not exclude you from the consequences.
Yeah, there's also another saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Exactly. And so it's just like, I think we can use the scenario of a little child. You tell a child, because a child is ignorant of a lot of things, and so they wouldn't have experienced a lot of things. And you tell the child, don't touch that hot. And the child not hear you. They still want to do it. And as soon as you turn your back or you step away, the child reaches. But once the child faces the consequences of being burnt, you could pay the child and the child will not touch it. Because you've experienced the consequences of those actions.
Something that's what you take.
Exactly. And so my thing is, we can't continue to remain ignorant. We can't continue to stay ignorant. We can't continue to condone ignorance when it comes to this matter. And so as a corporation, we will not, Lorna said it, Vanka said it, our little wardens have been saying it, that we will come and we will be issuing those tickets. We will be taking the necessary action, because it has now come this anthem that we chant over and over and over and over again. But there are some individuals who are persistent and just do not want to adhere to the law. And so basically we've gone straight into the whole illegal dumping matter, because it's something that we're very passionate about. And there were some reports that were made in the past week or two that really, really were, when I saw the visual, the images, it was disheartening, to say the least. It was upsetting. I have a cousin, she usually says, if somebody does it, oh, these people are just upsetful. That's exactly what it was.
It was upsetful.
It was upsetful.
Wow.
Because persons were this, and what was so upsetful about it was that the two main types of waste were construction waste and household waste.
Oh, no.
Household waste, which we collect for free.
For free.
So you're going to risk your life in the bushes and beyond to dispose of the waste that we collect for free illegally. I don't understand how that makes sense to you. Construction waste, we're talking about $15 per ton to dispose of this. 2,200 pounds. That's a lot of pounds for just $15. And yet you choose to not go to the landfill to dispose of it properly, but put it in the in the guts. So now you obstruct the water, and that water will find somewhere else to pass.
Of course.
Then what happens? At the end of the day, we end up with either some sort of flooding or water contamination, because
erosion, something.
Exactly. And we don't know what type of chemicals are in some of this construction waste. And so this water is now contaminated. People don't have a clue down the road, and persons now are exposed. Somebody decide, they're going to take a dip sometime, somewhere, and then it becomes problematic. Marine life is affected. Everybody is now affected. So there comes a time where the time for leniency and passivity.
Long gone.
Yes. Long time. That boat done sail. And I believe we need to get to a point where the excuse that I didn't know should no longer be applicable, because I don't understand how you did not know. First of all, this is a business in which you are involved in. You're supposed to make it your business to know all that it entails, what your responsibilities are. If you're involved in the business of disposing waste or construction business or any business where it is, when you're talking about mechanics, all of these different businesses, you're supposed to know, make it your business to know how to properly dispose of your waste. That should be part of your business operations. And following up should be part of your business as well. So if it is you've hired persons to go and dispose of this waste, you're supposed to follow up. Where are the receipts? And if you're accustomed to your truck, if you demolish, let's say, you demolish a building of a particular size, you should have an idea of how much weight that is. So if today you go and you see that this here weighs 5 tons, and then a similar size is demolished 2 months down the road, but all of a sudden it weighs 3 tons, you know there's a problem somewhere.
Right.
So all of this, that's why it's important to have record keeping, because then you can analyze, do some analysis, and you realize, well, something is not adding up somewhere. And you can check back on it. So there is no excuse. And our actions have consequences. We have been playing ignorant for too long, and so we need to now start to face those consequences. And so we, as a corporation, our enforcement team, beg all you want, we're not going to be taking that on. Persons commit these atrocities, I will call them, and then they want to plead to your humanity, to your emotions, and to your emotions, to be lenient towards them and to forgive them. Now, where is your humanity? Where are your emotions when you're illegally dumping? The consequences are pretty well known as to what that can entail. So if you are fully aware of the consequences of your actions, why now go to plead to someone else's emotions for leniency? Forgiveness, you need to take that to the altar in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're at the altar, please do reflect on how your actions affect everyone around you, how your selfishness impacts the entire nation. We say one man is not an island. So if you're aware that one man is not an island, then you should be fully aware that every decision that you make impacts everyone else somehow. And so by making that decision to not go to the landfill, taking that waste up some gut, up some mountain, up some wherever on an empty lot that does not even belong to you, and you're deciding you're going to dispose of it there because you want to save $15, when the consequences get there and you are charged, why are you begging? Why should we consider your feelings? I remember there was this show, and it became this big joke between my sister and I for years. And it's a Canadian show about reading books, and so it's about, and authors will come onto the show. Different authors will come on the show. They will talk about their books, and they will then discuss it. And there was one particular author, and the topic shifted into sort of like racism. And one lady, the Caucasian lady, she became very irate and she felt attacked. And the person said, "You are feeling attacked." So sometimes we come on the radio and the mechanics might say they feel attacked, or the construction workers, they might feel attacked. You're feeling all of these things, but you're not holding your fellow mechanics and your fellow construction workers accountable.
Right.
You need to do that. I'm not responsible for your feelings. You need to take that to the altar.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not responsible for your feelings. What I am responsible for is upholding this act. That is what I'm responsible for. And what you're responsible for is ensuring that your waste is deposited at the landfill where it ought to be. And when you don't do that, then I'm responsible for enforcing the act. So let's not get feelings intermingled too much in this. I'm not saying, because I believe we've been understanding beyond, I believe we have practiced patience close to Jesus.
Indeed.
And even Jesus turned up the tables them.
No, sometimes you gotta do it. Sometimes you get to that point, yeah.
He turned up the tables because persons were doing what they ought not to have been doing where they were not supposed to be doing it. And so, same applies. If you are doing what you're not supposed to be doing, and when you're not supposed to be doing it, then it's up for us to turn up the tables. So whatever you might be feeling, that you're feeling, because if you're doing the right thing, why feel attacked? There should not be a feeling of attack. Because if it is, you're not holding the other persons accountable, then your entire industry comes under scrutiny and your entire industry will be, quote unquote, attacked. So you need to hold other persons accountable. It's the same thing in terms of analogy. If males feel attacked when females say certain things and so forth, hold other males accountable, because it takes one bad apple or fruit to spoil the bunch. And so one person does one thing and everybody is attacked. Everybody is categorized into that particular bracket. And so it's up to persons within that bracket now to hold other persons accountable. So I'm going to plead right now because this is not practiced by every construction company. This is not practiced by every mechanic. I believe for the most part, they don't. But you have those one or two persons who want to cheat the system, and it's not even a system that's actually stifling you. I could somewhat understand if a system is stifling you and you want to gasp for air. But at $15 per ton and at free household collection, this is certainly not a system that is stifling you. This is a system that is catering to basically your every need.
Yeah, man, doing you a favor.
Exactly. And so I'm going to plead with those of you who are actually doing what you're supposed to do. When you see your fellow colleagues, your other persons within your industry, talk to them. And if talking to them does not work, report them. This is not, snitches get, what? Snitches get stitches. Yeah, this is not that. Because if you don't snitch, everybody's going to have to be stitched up through surgery or something because of something that could have affected us all. So there are times when you have to report certain issues, and you can do that anonymously, of course. You can do that. And so capitalize on that. Go onto the website and just make an anonymous report. And I really want to commend individuals who have come out, especially in the past 2 weeks, especially after the incident. We have gotten a lot more reports. Persons realize, okay, we actually do take action. And so they then take their time. Some of them have gone driven up into the mountains and so forth, beyond up in Phillips's mansion, all sorts of places to get us footage so that we can see. And so we can, and even, there's some areas we can't find, and they actually give us drove up to give us directions and walked to show us exactly where you pass to get to these spots, which no matter how much we would have canvassed the area or, monitored, we would have never found them.
Never.
We wouldn't. And so I really, really, really want to just say thank you to those individuals in the communities who are taking up the mantle and deciding, hey, I am going to be responsible for my community's welfare. And by doing so, you are helping not just yourself, obviously, but the future generation as well. This is a national impact. It's going to impact us all one way or the other. You're thinking you're dumping in Sandy Point, but hey, I live in Deep Bay, so it's not affecting me because I'm on the other side. That's not how it works. Because when the planet starts to react, it doesn't really matter where you are. You're going to be impacted. When a tsunami comes down, it doesn't matter. When a volcano blows up, the ash can circle the entire globe, depending on just how monumental that eruption was. And so you're thinking, hey, if it is Mount Kilimanjaro in East Africa erupts, hey, I'm quite in the Caribbean, it's not going to affect me. Think again. If an eruption is monumental enough, it can affect us all. The ash could come around and affect us all. Remember, a few weeks ago, we spoke about the Sahara dust.
Right.
It's coming all the way from Africa and it's reaching here.
Mm-hmm.
So if that could reach, other things could reach.
Small world.
Very small. I think we have this, and I would call it a misconception, that we are the center of the universe, that the universe somehow revolves around us. First of all, we revolve around the sun, and that sun revolves another. Exactly. I mean, it's an entire galaxy. When you really start to look at it, it's almost as for some persons who've had the privilege of traveling and trying to explain to someone outside of the Caribbean, or persons who've never lived in small islands, where is St. Kitts?
Right.
And you try to show them on a map, you can't find it. You will look for it.
You better Google it.
You can't find it. You gotta zoom in that Google pretty well. That's how tiny we also are in terms of when you compare us to the galaxy. The Earth is tiny, but it's our home. And so we need to take care of that. The same way, the Earth is massive, but St. Kitts, it's our home. It's ours. It's our little La Amiga. Tiny, but it's ours. It's a beautiful island. And so why do we want to do things that are going to destroy? Why are we tolerating individuals doing things that are going to destroy our home? Nobody's going to come in your house and start to just fling this here and fling that there, and you're just going to watch it and say, oh, yeah, go ahead. By the way, just shift this over there and just dump that there. You're not going to do that.
Nope.
So, and it's the same concept. Whether it's your child, your mother, you know what? My uncle like to say sometimes, when you use too much standard English, people not comprehend you. Whether it's your mama, your papa, your picnic, you ain't going to tolerate it. Mm-hmm. So the same thing applies. St. Kitts and Nevis, this is our home. It's our islands. So we need to take action when someone, whether it be your mama, your papa, your auntie, your cousin, coming and doing something that's going to destroy your home, you take action. So we need to take action. So continue to take those video footages, continue to make those reports, continue to let us know what is taking place, especially in areas that we can't get to. And we will ensure to take action. And so, yes, I've been a little bit more, what's that tone? As in
I don't want to use any terms to describe it. I just know it was necessary.
Yes, I my tone was necessary, I believe. And I just want to, I hope it resonates with who it needs to resonate with. I know most persons who are listening are probably part of the flock already that adheres to, but the flock goes out there and they spread the word.
Indeed.
And they are the watchmen and women. And so I just want to implore everyone to continue doing what you're doing in terms of the positive that you're doing. And if you're doing anything that's negative, please cease and desist, effective immediately, because we will not be lenient. We will not be tolerating in any form or fashion ignorance to the law. And so thank you for joining us today on yet another segment of Talking Trash. I hope you join us next week, Tuesday, right here on Win FM 98.9 and on WINNMedia SKN on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks all. Have a blessed day, and don't forget, waste matters.
If you say you love your little dear country, try to do something positively. Be a watchdog for the environment. Don't leave everything to the government. We dump our garbage anywhere, lit on the streets everywhere. Our behavior is telling me that we really don't care. Take some pride in your country. Volunteer to clean where it's dirty. Tourism development needs a healthy environment. Whenever we litter, we threaten our survival. So those who engage in it should be treated like criminals. So don't be afraid at all if they call you an informer. Report those who endanger our future. So if you really love this blessed land, this situation demands attention.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean, because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Horseman's Automotive presents Pay Nothing Sales Event. That's right, for VAT Days this December, Horseman's Automotive, the Federation's favorite auto dealer, will offer Pay Nothing on VAT on all selected models. You heard right, pay no VAT on all select vehicles. Pay nothing in down payment. Pay nothing for bill of sale. Pay nothing for servicing for 12 months. Pay nothing on groceries, or pay nothing on gas for up to 3 months. Your choice. Pay nothing on registration and licensing. Pay nothing for tinting and accessories. And there's more. There is absolutely nothing to worry about with our unbeatable financing package. So come in now and reserve your vehicle today for VAT Days in December, and pay nothing on VAT on select models. Pay nothing on bill of sale. Pay nothing on groceries or gas for 3 months. Pay nothing on registration, tinting, accessories, servicing, and more. Come help us make much ado about nothing. It's Horseman's Automotive Pay Nothing Sales Event 2021. Paying nothing and feeling good. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Island Team right here on WINNMedia SKN with your faves, Kevin and Azim, featuring Jade, Gwenny Gwen, Idita, CPL, Martha Stewart, Crasson Crude, Johnson. Jade, it's Tuesday, November 30th. You know, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
December literally right around the corner.
Around the corner as if it's tomorrow. Around the corner to far, man.
Around the corner too far? Like, knocking on the door.
It's outside.
It's outside. December is literally on the landing.
Yeah, man. It's only us. Cutting style.
Right on there. Okay. So, but yeah, Jay, there's all sorts of awesome things happening in the world. Let's discuss some right now.
Okay. Let's start with our updates. Yeah.
Our own version of the.
I don't even know what to call it. I do not know what to call it as in. But we did the story a couple weeks. This week? It was this what?
No,
It was October.
October.
Yeah, I think it was October. We did this story in October where we told you guys about 3 nationals that were arrested for some sort of gun.
But they're calling it, Jade. Say what they
Okay,
say
they
what
said it's trio organized mail order gun service.
a mail order gun service.
And not the male as in a man. Because you know, you could do like a
Oh, yeah.
yeah, remember you could order a woman to the mail service.
Right,
I think you could order a husband too, but make sure.
Nobody want us.
Well, you know, so you go. So yeah, trio organized mail order gun service via Coventry Airport.
Coventry.
Oh, okay. Oy. So Keston Joseph, Dion Roberts, and Dashan Keynes were jailed at Birmingham Crown Court on Friday. 3 men have been jailed for importing illegal firearms into the UK, hidden in the post, and trying to sell them, the National Crime Agency says. Officers found 2 semi-automatic pistols and bullets in a parcel disguised as car parts at Coventry Airport in January last year. The parcel and another earlier in the month, also containing a gun, had been imported from Orlando in Florida.
Old Town.
A previous incident saw a gun smuggled in a safe. I mean, safety first at least.
Yeah.
Keston Joseph, 33, from Broad Street, Coventry, and Dashan Keynes, 46, of Falcon Lodge Crescent, Sutton Coldfield, had earlier been convicted at Birmingham Crown Court of conspiracy to acquire prohibited weapons, conspiracy to acquire ammunition, conspiracy to sell or transfer prohibited weapons, and conspiracy to sell or transfer ammunition. Dion Roberts, 33, from Lodge Green Lane, Meriden, Coventry, previously pleaded guilty to the same charges. On Friday, Roberts was jailed for 12 years, Joseph for 14 years, and Keynes for 9 years. Yikes. An investigation was launched after the 2 pistols and hollow point bullets were intercepted at the airport on 24th January, the NCA says. 5 days later, a man claiming to be the intended recipient of the parcel, John Bob Walton in Cambridge, came to collect it, but officers realized he was Roberts.
No, we ain't gotta go back to the whole story again because that can just.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm sorry.
They're going in jail and they're coming home. That's all that's happened. They're going in jail and they're coming home.
By that time, there are people in studying them.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry to say it, but
Why would you do this?
and this is why I keep telling people, guys, look, no matter how hard it is when you're out there, we will welcome you home with open arms.
Yes.
Don't get caught up in the fast life because y'all ain't doing it good. So come home.
So you went with your whole original face to collect this package? Like his whole face? That is his?
Jade, me want to go back to all the ways that this thing was just embarrassing.
Oh my God.
I don't want to go back. I don't want
to
go back to it because this is the thing, I'm one of the people who, as much as I don't promote crime can happen. But my thing is, I also recognize the place that crime has played in development of communities all around the world.
Indeed.
Don't try to feel like the Jewish people who run in Hollywood and the Italian people who in almost every layer of government in the United States,
Literally.
especially in the Northeast. Don't think that crime didn't play a big part in that development. Don't bother talk about England.
Oh my God. And France?
So all these communities, yeah, crime played a big part in developing the countries, in families being able to then take the proceeds of crime and then turn legit, and now have generations of people who are well off. So I understand that. But we gotta do it good if we're doing it. And we ain't doing it good. So please, just stop.
At least.
Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop.
There's nothing wrong with being an average citizen, you know?
Straight up, yeah, be a square.
Yeah, man. Nothing
Watch,
wrong at all.
earning a legal dollar for you and your family is commendable in its own way. It's commendable. It's commendable. Get smarter with the business.
Yeah,
Smarter
don't
business.
learn from the mistake of others. It is easier when you learn from the mistakes of others. So if you deciding, right, to live a life of crime, just read the story, read the story before the story, and you will see why. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. And if you're gonna do a crime, please be good at it.
At least.
At least be good at it. At least be good and have an exit strategy, or at least have a plan so that those coming after you ain't got to do what you do.
And please make sure your exit strategy does not include you going to jail for 12 years. Wow. That is not a good exit.
Wow.
That is an awful exit, actually.
That's horrible. I
You
mean,
failed dismount.
yeah. That's kind of whack. But Jay,
guys, welcome home when you do. See you guys in 12, 14 years. You know, with sun, sand, and sea. Come back to the beach.
By that time, they'll be farmed then.
Yeah, man. By the time they are productive members of society.
Yep, indeed.
Ready to contribute to our great nation.
Positively.
Not that they would have a choice because, you know, they're going to send them home.
Yeah, but guys, speaking of self-determination and coming home and independence and all these things, congratulations to Barbados.
Oh, indeed.
Congratulations to Barbados, who last evening, what was it, 55 years after becoming independent? I think it's 55 years.
Let me check.
I think it's 55 years.
I think so. I think that number might be
to
correct.
the day. After become they have actually gone through the process and are now a republic. They have removed the Queen as their head of state, and they swore in a new prime minister.
Yes.
Last night. But then go ahead.
Since 1625, the British crown was also Barbados. But guess what?
Not anymore.
Nope. After 396 years, the sun has finally set on the last vestiges of British colonism.
Colonization?
No, colonism.
Or colonialism.
Colonial, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, this only make a lot of old English
You
words.
know what? Because I need to know anyway.
Oh boy. But here we are once again speaking about the remnants of colonialism. But in this case, we're moving away. So as Jade was saying, after 396 years, the sun has finally set on the last vestiges of British colonialism as Barbadians awoke to a new dawn as the world's newest republic. At midnight Tuesday, today, at the very moment 55 years ago, yep, I was right, 55 years ago when Barbados became an independent sovereign nation, it transitioned from a Commonwealth realm to a parliamentary republic, and Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, the last viceroy, was officially sworn in as the republic's first president. The British crown, under whose possession the island was declared in 1625 in the name of King James I, was finally decoupled from the sovereignty of Barbados after 4 centuries through the epochs of colonization, slavery, emancipation, internal self-government, federation, and finally independence. What a journey. I, Sandra Prunello Mason, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Barbados according to law. So help me God, President Mason declared as she recited the oath of office. The ceremony unfolded on a clear night in the capital city, Bridgetown, with intermittent drizzles and the whiz of drone cameras above the scores of dignitaries on the parade square. Many would-be watchers voiced loud frustration with being restricted from Hero Square, which was framed by the floodlit Parliament buildings and old Treasury building. In her first address to the Republic, President Mason declared for decades debate and discourse raged on about whether the critical steps should have been taken, but on this occasion, action had been taken. I'm going to actually skip down to some of what Prince Charles said because I think that was very interesting. Okay. Prince Charles, the guest of honor for the historic celebration, was cast in the symbolic role of an outgoing head of state, and this, as the heir to the British throne and future head of the Commonwealth, witnessed the loss of another Commonwealth realm. The first such transition in more than 30 years, Barbados will remain a member of the 54-nation Commonwealth. He urged the Barbadian people to make freedom, justice, and self-determination to be their guides, as he pledged the United Kingdom's dedication to close and trusted partnership, referring to the appalling atrocities of slavery, which forever stain the joint history of the British and Barbadians. The Prince praised the people of Barbados for forging their own path. Your long journey has brought you to this moment, not as your destination, but as a vantage point from which to survey a new horizon, he said.
I see.
Madam President, as your constitutional status changes, it is important to me that I should join you to reaffirm those things that do not change.
I see.
Yeah. He concluded, tonight you write the next chapter of your nation's story, adding to the treasury of past achievement, collective enterprise, and personal courage, which already fills its pages. Yours is a story in which every Barbadian, young and old, can take the greatest pride, inspired by what has come before them and confident about what lies ahead. As we will sing tonight, you are the guardians of your heritage, firm craftsmen of your fate.
Interesting.
I am so proud of Barbados.
Indeed. Somebody said they need to clone Mayor Motley and make her the PM of all Caribbean islands, except Antigua. Except Antigua, we need one for laughs. Listen, Justin shall forever remain the funny. Well, no.
Hey, Mama Mia been doing. And she looked amazing last night.
Of course she did.
I must say.
Of course she did.
I must say she looked amazing. Basically, and for those of you who did not notice, the president is also a woman.
Yes.
Sandra, that's the woman's name.
Yes, it is. I mean, it could be a man, but
yes, but
in this case,
it's
And our girl Rihanna was in the building, of course.
Not only that.
What?
Also, you don't know.
No.
Mia Motley actually declared Rihanna a national hero last night.
Oh my God.
Rihanna,
as she should.
As she should. As she should. So Rihanna is now a national hero, well deserved in my opinion.
Well deserved, and while she is alive.
Yes.
Things I love to see.
Indeed.
Things I love to see.
Indeed. Not only because she's probably the most recognizable Barbadian ever. Not only one of the richest people in the world, but also because of her philanthropic endeavors.
Yes.
She has constantly been giving back to Barbados.
And other countries.
Yeah.
Like she's so selfless, and this is a well-deserved title that she has been given. Congratulations to Barbados again. Hopefully other Caribbean countries will follow suit.
Is that something? Bear in mind that this hasn't happened for like 30 years. I can't remember which was the last Commonwealth country to actually remove the Queen as head of state.
Well, I hope this lights a fire under the rest and for them to realize like this is something possible. We don't have to live under these rules forever. We don't have to have the Queen of the head of state forever. Like we could literally be by ourselves.
Yeah, but I mean it is more ceremonial. She's more like a figurehead. You know, how much do they really get involved in the runnings of the country? But at the same time, I do believe that it is a remnant of the colonial past.
Indeed.
And as we really aim to be more self-reliant, self-determining, like these are the things that come along with that, right? So it's important for us to, and not only that, be able to hold ourselves and the people that we elect accountable.
Yes.
Fully. Right? So
Fully. That's something that we really need to work on. But
yeah, this hand holding again. I think that because there's a lot of reasons, including experience, including increased education of the population, access to education, access to technology. All these things have positioned a lot of these countries to be able to really determine their affairs without the hand holding of ignorance. Right, so yeah, man, kudos to Barbados. I was telling Jade, one of the reasons I was late this morning is because I was up late last night watching this. I'm going to wake up this morning. Research purposes. That's why I was late. I was up last night watching the ceremony, and I was in awe, to be honest. I just thought it was cool. Now, of course, this then brings up conversation, and it was one of the things I was seeing in the comments last night, and of course, it's been discussed all into the lead up to last night. Is the call for some sort of reparation and some sort of compensation, because we do recognize, being a colony. I think it was stated last night that there had been over 600,000 slaves brought to Barbados, whose descendants are still, of course, now the persons who live there.
Yep.
And they would have, of course, through their labor, enriched slave owners whose wealth is now, of course, what's being passed down to present generations. So
I think that's
So that is a conversation that again would have been sparked. It's been ongoing, and of course, Barbados has been one of the places that has housed some of the loudest proponents for this call. But of course, no, by things turn up now.
I think they deserve it. I think a lot of these countries where the wealth of the
nation has been stripped and taken back to some of these colonial powers.
Culture, the wealth, all of these things.
For generations.
For far too long. I feel like it's time for us to receive what we are owed.
Lifetimes.
I feel like it's only fair for us to receive what we are owed for things that we have had stolen from our culture, from our countries, to be returned.
From our treasuries.
Return the things that don't belong to you. It is not yours. We cannot just take things from your country and then decide, oh no, we're getting y'all back.
I just love how when you look now, the country them struggling, and they say like, well, we got this thing called AMF.
Bro, y'all literally owe us reparations.
Be like, no, but what about the money? What about the millions and so why they steal and so we can't get something out of that?
I mean, after all, man.
Are we really want to do is like build a wind farm?
Can we have some of our money so that we can build sustainable things?
Yeah.
Can we be compensated with our? Imagine that I got to ask you for my money.
Not only that, and even if they want to give you some, they want to give you with strings attached.
So it is not yours. This is not how ownership goes. You don't steal things and then tell me, yeah, you could get back,
A man, if you care, when you go back to him and say, okay, look, I tell you what, I'll rent it to you, but also while you're renting it, please bear in mind that it only uses top quality gas from this one gas station.
That I happen to own. Don't forget that part.
That's basically what's going on.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but again,
congratulations,
and like Jade expressed, we'll see if this actually lights a fire under some of the other countries to do likewise.
And congratulations to the Right Honorable Robin Rihanna Fenty.
Boom boom, you hear that?
I like the fact that she is not a politician and she was bestowed with this title. I feel like other countries should follow suit, because I feel like too often we only feel like politicians could become national heroes when there are people literally in and around the countries doing amazing work, and they are just bypassed because they're not in the political arena. Ridiculous. Where did that come from?
I mean, I understand because when we look at, and we've had this conversation here on the show before, about the fact that it's the nation's highest honor, and so it's reserved for persons who are perceived or whatever by.
So you only could be high in the nation if you're a politician.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think that would have been the case because of the fact that a lot of these nations are actually pretty young, right? I mean, we're pretty young. We're between 36 and like 60 years for most of the Caribbean, most of the Caribbean, right? So what you find is that the countries would have been at a place where they're starting to develop and put things in place, education systems, boom, boom, boom. As a matter of fact, I think the Caribbean islands have come a long way in a short space of time.
Indeed.
That is very commendable. But because of that, the persons who lead those charges, the things that are more significant to the countries, especially early, are the politicians.
Happy to be politicians.
Yeah, but it's not that they have a monopoly on influence. It's not that they have. So we just have to acknowledge those as well who contribute in other ways, whether it is marketing the country, being recognizable as being from the country and stuff like that. Like, it's very important that those persons also recognize.
Yeah, because I feel like
and some are deserving of the highest honor.
I feel like Kim Collins should be a national hero.
Yeah.
I just feel like for all the work he has done and all the time and energy and effort he has put into put our country on the map through his talent, I feel like he deserves it, man.
Yeah.
I feel like he deserves it.
And the argument that people doesn't make, like, oh, but he didn't even win the goal at the Olympics.
Did you?
No, it's not about that. Like, I understand what you're saying, but the truth is that doesn't somehow undermine the achievements. He did what no one else did and put us in a position that no one else put us in. No, as a matter of fact, no, the person who will go and win the Olympic gold from here understands that it's possible because of what Kim did.
Exactly. The mere fact that he made it to where he made it and did what he did is just commendable in itself.
People don't recognize that, and this is a big thing in St. Kitts,
What up?
Continuity. We lack continuity, or we also lack the understanding, or we don't recognize when it exists. Everybody feel like they just come and do what they're doing on their own and think, no. Or we feel like that's what we should do.
That's not how it works.
Nah, see, too many businesses, parents struggle and sacrifice to build businesses. Children come, decide they want not to do it and go. Too much.
That's why all these abandoned buildings in and around Bastille.
Yeah, I'm about to hey, watch your McKnight. Lot of black-owned businesses no longer owned by the black families.
So RSL be honest things. How you want them? Just tell them to us, no? Y'all just holding them, letting them. Y'all rather hold on to these things, right? Let them rot and run down than just sell them to people who actually want to do things with them.
A lot of times the people just leave, Jay. That's what they know. And then people somewhere in England, somewhere.
I know that, but I'm not talking about those.
And then no, but them is so deciding. They know they ain't coming back, and they just wouldn't do nothing. Even if you track them down, they call them. You say, hey, there's this building here, boom, 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 boom. No, it's okay. Me selling.
Yeah, selling.
Because
the building running down. So we're gonna do with it.
Nothing, because they're comfortable where they be. After the same hard work.
Be more comfortable.
After the same hard work, are the parents who they seem to load so much. Because there was only a seamstress, there was only a sister.
Yeah, but no,
only had a shop.
Exactly, but now you just have the shop running down when you could sell the shop to somebody who actually wants to do something with it.
Yeah, it's even in music. It's in every aspect. It's even in politics. We just had when it was Sunday. This whole discussion again coming up about continuity in our political parties, like it's in everything. It's in every single aspect. It's in every single aspect of society. We need to fix it.
We do.
Yeah.
Indeed, we do. But while we wait on our guest who is packing, what do you want to talk about, friend?
We had
Let me see. Let me check quickly.
What was the other cool story?
So it was COVID or a Nevis incident that happened over the weekend.
We actually should mention the Nevis incident.
Okay, so let's talk about that one. So over the weekend, a police report came out, I think it was yesterday, that said 2 men were injured in a shooting incident on Sunday, November 28th. According to the public relations officer in the St. Christopher and Nevis police force, the 2 men, Ivan James and Aldre James, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, were taken to the Alexandra.
Those people are here to hear it.
I know. hospital and were in stable condition after the shooting incident last night in Brown Hill, Nevis. Last night meaning Sunday night. Subsequently, the police said that Aldre was treated and discharged while Ivan remains in hospital. Investigations so far have revealed that sometime after 11 p.m. on Sunday, both men were in a vehicle driving through the Brown Hill area when two unknown assailants came out of another vehicle and fired several shots at them. Aldra James received abrasion wounds to his arm and abdomen, and Ivan received a gunshot wound to his leg. Wynn will provide more details as they become available.
The peace ain't on in Nevis.
Clearly not. Maybe they remember.
Somebody need to let them man know the peace on here.
Please.
Somebody need to remind Nevis that the peace on. Because me, I understand. I just feel like we're getting too many of these reports, man. Too many of these reports. I mean, every time we talk about these sorts of incidents, and thank God that in this case there was no loss of life. But that could easily not be the case. And we'd have another set of families mourning, and we'd have another person dealing with the weight of murder walking around the streets. You understand? Like, I think, I really believe that we're going to have to recognize that these things aren't some isolated cases. It's something that is widespread, and we need... Because this is my thing, right? If we can always come around and say, oh, it's too much now, oh, it's too much happening too often now, well, that means that there's something going on among a wide cross-section of the society.
Indeed.
So we need to figure out what that is, and we need to address it.
Yes, please, because this is ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous.
I mean, and it's a lot of different areas, Jade. A lot of different areas. On one hand, we're speaking about what is going on in people's life that get them to the point where they feel it's necessary to go and attempt to take the life of another human being, right? Right? What is going on there, right? And then on top of that, we also have to deal with the fact that, but where all this gun coming from, right?
Bruh.
You know how it be for me to get a gun?
Yes. Legally. Don't forget that part.
Legally. Watch, Jade, let me tell you something. I try to be upstanding. I try to be a law-abiding citizen most times. I mean, I might jaywalk now and again. I'm trying to work on it, but I'm not perfect, Jade.
Nobody is.
I'm not perfect.
Nobody is.
But I mean, yeah, these is questions that we have to ask, and I think part of the issue is that we a lot of time dismiss it as like, oh, them people. No. It's them, you know, like they said they.
Yeah.
Oh, they this and they this. Yeah, they're not that thing.
It's a nation.
Yeah, and well, until you affect them, you see when you see sometime, right? There's a bullet thing on the name, yeah.
Oh. May one come up, please, Lord.
You understand?
Please, I'm not a gun man. I've never been.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, where all this gun coming from? Why the young people this and thing and thing and thing. Yeah, but we always when them last six shootings happen. You always in the corner talking about why they don't behave.
Yeah.
They just all that.
They just want to shoot people. No, that's not it. But anyway, our guest has arrived, and we will just take a quick break, thank our sponsor, and bring him in. So stay tuned to Island T right here on WINNMedia. SKN. We will be right back.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta, enjoy the real Fruta, refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta, drink the real Fruta, your favorite Fruta, the natural taste is Fruta.
Your favorite fruit has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
Feel the magic happening. Campari. Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Hey, morning, guys. Welcome back to Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SK. And if you're listening, big up yourself. You're an amazing person.
Amazing person indeed.
And thank you for joining me and Jade. And of course, our guest for today.
The Honorable
The Honorable
Jonel Powell.
Jonel Powell.
What he tell me his nickname was again?
Jeppito.
Yeah, Jeppito.
Y'all nearly mash up my name yesterday, man.
Watch it. I forget the P. I mean, J2 sound good to it, but
Yeah,
Jeppito
man.
got a nice ring to
Yeah,
it. I must say.
We understand.
I must say. And you see, the thing is, right? We only refer to you by your nicknames when you're actually a friend of the show.
Yes.
I'm pleased. I'm pleased.
So, Mr. Minister, a lot of things have been happening in and around the nation under the portfolios that you happen to have. Boy, I know you. This is probably a stressful time, ain't gonna lie.
It's fun time.
I couldn't do it. But you have somehow managed to continue. So, you said you heard a little bit of shushu yesterday, you know? That you have to come and clear up.
No, watch it. What happened, right? Let's be honest.
Okay, go ahead.
Jonel is the man with the insight.
Yeah.
So the man just gonna clear up some things for us. That really what's going on.
Yeah, well, let me say good morning to all the amazing people who are listening right now. First and foremost, always happy to be on Win FM, and particularly on this show. As you said, I'm a friend in the show. I've been on this, I don't even know how many times now, a couple of times well.
A couple of times well.
So, but yeah, you know, a lot has been going on, particularly within the portfolios which I have control for the minister of, and so I've been quite busy, you know, trying to deliver for the people. Yeah, you know, I always listen to this show, and I thought yesterday's conversation was quite interesting. I thought there was maybe a lack of perspective, and I think there's still a lot of things that need to be clarified. I still think a lot of people, for whatever reason, it could just be, you know, simple lack of efficient or proper communication. Just still don't have an appreciation for some of the things we're doing, how we're doing them, and why we're doing them as a government right now. I know the entertainment sector in particular has been quite frustrated. I don't claim to be any promoter or any musician, but I mean, the mighty short pants, the mighty short pants referred to me as the Honorable Busquite because the other night at the Calypso show, because he said I go to every fete and every party. So from the perspective of a party goer, I get the frustration as well. I see it. I get it. I'm a young person in the mix. I get it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, if I can provide any answers, perspective on any of these issues, I know there were a lot of questions that came up yesterday. I'm happy to.
Yeah, because it feels as though even though things are trying to be moved forward, we're still at a place where it's a lot of miscommunication, a lot of things are happening that both sides are not seeing eye to eye on. And if you're in an industry, if you're in a culture as we are, and you are trying to get back to a place where you can earn as well as you can continue to make sure that the way that you earn doesn't affect the health and the safety of the country, but the people who are in charge seems to not want to work with you in a way that would help you foster this. It could get frustrating because, as I said yesterday, I literally was in a situation where a task force member said you are not allowed to dance in a restaurant, and I still cannot wrap my head around that type of thinking, because I understand that yes, we can't have things that would surge cases and all of these things. We understand that fully, but when do we realize that human beings are going to act in a certain way, no matter the case? Because if you hear music, you're going to dance. And I feel like if you're in a restaurant and you're dancing, I don't see how that would then cause the restaurant to be shut down.
Well, it's all perspective. I don't know, based on what you just said, the extent to what dance in a restaurant means. It could be you in a restaurant and a tune come on and you start, you know, you make a little move because that's your jam. Or it could be the case, as happened quite recently, and I don't even know if it's the same thing you're talking about, where a restaurant ended up having a session after dinner, and it became a massive party with a ton load of people, and there were no permissions allowed. So it all comes down to the individual case. Certainly from the government, we're not saying you can't dance. That's not what we're saying. And sometimes I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. Sometimes you have persons carrying out different rules, and some of them take things very literally, and some people understand, look, you have to use your discretion as well.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Maybe we need to provide some context for what we're talking about, because sometimes I get confused. Not me, but I talk to people sometimes, and I hear discrepancies in the way they frame certain things. So, in regards to the restrictions, the protocols, and that type of things, yeah, it may be instituted by the government, but my understanding is that the government acts mainly based on the recommendations from the task force. So, and I have not heard a situation where any task force member has come out and said that, oh, we tell them do this and they ain't gonna do this or whatever. So there seems to be some synergy between those who institute the rules and the ones recommending the rules. Is that fair to say?
In some instances, but not just particular to COVID and the task force. I could tell you, as Minister of Education, there are certain policies that the ministry takes, but you have, sometimes you can physically manage every single teacher within the schools, but then you have individual teachers here and there who carry out the policy very differently to how it was envisioned. And it may not be intentional, it might just be the understanding of the way they do things. And so you're gonna have these discrepancies in anything we do. What we need to do is get the feedback and be able to address those issues. No member of the task force is gonna come out and say, boy, Jade was wrong when she went and did something this way. It's that within house. So you might not hear them come out and say it, but I think what is important is to get the feedback from people so that we know so that they know how to address things going forward.
Yeah, I think that even and I think what's happening now in terms of feedback is that there seems to be a certain level of frustration in regards to what the country has been asked to do and what is now the result of persons going out and doing what they were asked to do, right? And so there seems to be a situation where persons aren't necessarily understanding why some of these restrictions, right?
Correct.
So let's speak specifically. The Minister of Culture, the carnival is in the air. One of the big things, of course, is the vaccinated only events, right? And like I said, you've heard the frustration, I'm sure. So from the perspective of the government, what is the thought process behind instituting that type of policy?
All right. The government has to be the one to set the standard and to set the gold standard. I find too often we want to refer to worst case scenario or bad standards, and so we look these people over here doing things the wrong way. So why we must do things the right way? Government cannot be getting involved in those arguments. As a minister responsible for culture and carnival, I support that. The cabinet has been always consistent. I have always been consistent. The carnival committee has always been consistent. That in relation to Sugar Mass and carnival, all official events would have to be fully vaccinated only, from participants to patrons. That is to maintain the least risk possible of any spread. And yes, people can get vaccinated, can get and can pass on COVID. We all know that. But the risk of me, as a fully vaccinated person, getting and passing it on to somebody is significantly less, ridiculously less than to unvaccinated people. The carnival is a government, carnival committee is a government arm, carnival is a group of government events, and we have to set the highest standard possible. We've always said that from the beginning. Now, some persons, I know we had some issues with the Calypsonians and stuff, but at the end of the day, we all have decisions to make, and with every decision, there's a consequence. As a government, we have to make certain decisions, hard or not. Not everybody's going to like it, but we have to make decisions understanding there's certain consequences. And so participants, they make certain decisions to vaccinate or not vaccinate, knowing what the consequences of the actions are. We have absolutely no issue in terms of the soca artists. All of the I think it's 38 of them registered. There's been no issue, no discussion about vaccination. The pageants are going.
I think there are a few though who recognize they won't be able to compete because of the status.
Right, and so they know what the consequence of the decision is. They know what the rules are, and they accept that. And I said that to say I think we need to lead the way. We need to set the example.
Yeah, I think what is for me looking on at the whole situation, I think that it's easy to say that we need to set a hard line and be the gold standard and all of these things, but then it then speaks to the fact that it feels as though the thing that is being considered most is the health and the safety. So I understand that. But I don't believe that then means that other considerations shouldn't be looked at, and the importance of those things should be ignored. So for instance, the fact that carnival in itself isn't just about some persons making a money or, for instance, people just having a good time. We do understand that is an expression of culture. It is something that, again, and culture in itself is something that makes us who we are. And so when you have persons who have been contributing to something like carnival for years and years and years and years, it is unfortunate that the only thing that then seems to be prohibiting them from participating is the choice whether or not to vaccinate or not. And so these are some of the things that people have found frustrating, as well as I have also been very verbal and vocal about the fact that I believe that even though the government does have to have these policies in place, have to consider the person's safety and stuff like that, things should be attainable and realistic. If you're going to have something like carnival, which involves such a wide cross-section of the population, understanding where we're at in terms of the vaccination status, you don't have 80%, 100% of the target yet, because we're trying to get there. Then it seems almost unrealistic to then determine that, well, this thing should happen without any of those people being involved. And we see that's not the case. We know that there's some people who, for whatever reason, whether it's health-wise, religious, they have to be involved. Like, they have to be involved.
As in, and those exceptions are being made in terms of persons who present a doctor's letter or what have you, report saying they can't be. Those persons who establish that for a particular religious reason, they can't. We accept that. And I agree with you that it is unfortunate that there's some people who've contributed to carnival over the years, and the one thing stopping them from participating now is vaccination. I find it unfortunate. But I also find it unfortunate that so many people who are accustomed to going to the States to get medical checkups, to check on family, they can't go because they're vaccinated. And I find it unfortunate that many of them now getting vaccinated simply to travel to go to the States. The point I'm making is rules have been set up for a particular reason. And the first thing that you highlighted this morning was an inconsistency in even members of the task force enforcing those rules. And I think if we try to start making exceptions, if we start to try making arguments, we get into the argument of inconsistency. Because we've said to people, go out and vaccinate because this is what is in your best interest. We've set certain targets. We're now at 80%. We said this is when this is the point at which we're going to really open up the economy and do certain things. And so having said to people and encourage these, 80% of the population go out and get that shot, what you then say to them when they're in a function with somebody who's not made that effort?
But
I
these
am
are the
no-
same people have to be in a bus with the people who have not made that effort. They have to
Agreed.
be in this, they have to be in the
Agreed.
businesses. They have to go down to.
I agree, but
the
there's a
supermarkets.
difference between being in a supermarket with having a mix of vaccinated and unvaccinated in a supermarket as opposed to being in a FET, as opposed to being in a
We're
Queen
talking about
show.
Calypso show, though.
In any show.
We're talking about
for
Calypso show.
For any show, for an extended time, because I've heard the argument, well, I only going to spend 8 minutes on the stage by myself. Who are going to be around? You're backstage. You're backstage in close proximity. If you're female, you have people doing your makeup, doing your fixing your hair, fixing your clothes. If even with the males, you have persons assisting you. Backstage is not a very big place. You have persons, all of them are within proximity of each other.
I think what happens is that we start policing certain places because we figure, well, we have control here, right? But what we don't. But I think what gets frustrating for people is that we recognize that it's not just that we are not policing everywhere. We can't police everywhere. Right, and so when we start making determinations about, well, this is the place that we are going to decide to police, this is the place that we're going to decide to police, we're not going to police here, police here, then you start getting into the question of, well, why this and why that? So, for instance, when we start saying, well, and this was one of the things that had been frustrating to me personally, was whenever we start seeing governments in particular questioning how they should exercise new powers, a lot of time the discussion comes around, can we do it, right? And then there's no real discussion about, well, where is the limit? And so without having those things in place prior to the execution of these new powers, because, for instance, prior to, and I say this all the time, prior to 2019, you tell somebody that some of the things that we're doing now, as much as we understand the reason for doing it now, if we had to say, well, we was going to be doing this, but people would be like, you're crazy, there's no way.
People getting locked up for wearing masks.
Yeah, you understand? So, it's like, so no, but the problem is that we never really start talking about the limits. And so when we start exercising the powers and we start now choosing where to exercise the powers, how to exercise the powers, it gets very confusing and things. So then you have to start asking your question, okay, so why here? So why is it that I can't go to the Carnival Calypso show, but I could go on the ferry terminal, or I could go here, or I could go there?
Yeah,
and
but
we start
again,
talking about behavior.
Yeah, but you got to put things in context, Azim. I mean, you're talking about a closed event as opposed to a public area. And so you can't police a public area in the same way. And so, you really have to look at things on a case-by-case basis. But I get it. I completely understand the point you're making.
And I think what's happening is that at the end of the day, persons who are on either side of the discussion, I don't believe that is a case that one set is ignoring safety or one set is, I think it's just a matter of different perspectives in relation to how we keep people safe.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's different perspectives, and the government has to take a particular position. And what we can say is our position is consistent with every other government world over. What we're doing here in St. Kitts and Nevis is not different to what is being done anywhere else in the world. I mean, yesterday I heard somebody making the argument about footballers in England and things. Footballers, the vaccination rate amongst Premier League footballers is 70%. Is actually the lowest, one of the lowest in Europe. In France, it's 90-something%. In France, to even put your foot on the step of the stadium, you have to be fully vaccinated. Germany, 90%. MLS in the States, 95%. NBA, 93%. NHL, 90-something%. So even when you look at sports, that is what is doing. Again, let's use the best examples. I just came from France. In Paris, you can't go in a bar, a restaurant, any public area unless you show that you're fully vaccinated.
But you see,
New York, same thing. LA, same thing.
And I think those are the things that really that highlights what I was saying earlier. When we start determining here, there, not everywhere, that's when people get kind of frustrated. But it's 10 o'clock, so we're gonna take a break. But we actually have some more time if you're available to talk for a little bit more.
Absolutely.
All right, so guys, we're gonna take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SKN. Don't go away. Jonel, stay there.
Not 5, not 10, but up to $20,000 off a new Toyota Hiace. Choose your Toyota Hiace model, choose your financial institution, and save up to $20,000. Roll out reliable, fresh, and in style with free licensing, registration, and tinting. It's a bus bonanza with up to $20,000 off. TDC Automotive, #1 for a reason.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
All right, guys, we're back right here on Island Tea.
Yes.
With Azam and Jade, and of course, friend of the show, Jeppy too. But
I like how you just roll off your nickname.
But that we said that he name now.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what tell them vote for, right? JP2.
Jeppy
For some strange reason, somebody on the live is asking who you are. I'm just going to sum it up to this person not being Kitishan. If you do not know Minister Powell, then I don't know what work you're living under.
So you're Minister of Culture, Sports, youth, and that's it.
Education.
What a portfolio, eh? You think when you was picking, right? You envisioned all of this happening?
Nah. No, and I always tell people I think I got elected at the wrong time in history, in the middle of a pandemic. But it is what it is, and we're just rolling with it.
Yeah, man, you do your best. You got a mandate from the people, so
that's all you could do.
I'll study that. But I mean, I feel like even the mix of, I mean, first off, the pandemic affected everything. Like everything. There's nothing that it has not touched. That is why every day we come in here, we got to woke up. It'll get tiring,
right?
But it affects everything. But I think you're in a unique situation as minister for all those different that portfolio itself. I mean, we're talking youth, we're talking education, we're talking culture, we're talking sports. I mean,
things most affected.
But think about when you really think about it, that is the thing that really, in a real tangible way, affects most, especially young people.
Boy.
Especially young people. Everyone, but especially young people.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be difficult trying to navigate all these new changes as a result of the pandemic. One of the questions, and I think we've done a good job. I think we've seen, especially in comparison to some of the other countries, where we've had, for education, for instance, we've been able to maintain in-person classes. When I talk to some of my other friends in some of the other islands, like they think that's insane.
The only other country that has in the region that has been able to do that was St. Vincent, who's just come back online within the last month.
Right.
Outside of that, we've been the only ones who've been able to actually have complete a full academic year in person in schools.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, so that in itself must have been a challenge. One that I'm sure you're proud of, the way that it would have come out of. But now we're talking about some of these things that we're seeing in other areas. We now have the Pfizer vaccine that is approved for children as well. Is it that the parents are being asked to take their kids to the health center for those who are trying to get their kids vaccinated? That is not something that is being run through this school system as it.
Well, we have been asking parents to do it, but we have noticed a slow rollout, and I get it. And parents work, they have different responsibilities. It might not always be the most convenient thing to
think
accompany
You
children.
think it's a convenient thing?
For some people it is. For some people
Right,
it is.
right.
But what we've done is we've tried to make it easier on the parents. And so we've sent home, every kid has gotten, who's not vaccinated yet, has gotten a parental consent form for their parents to sign, as well as a health form so that they can fill out the health form one time, and a cover letter explaining everything to them. And so we've sent those out, and we're now in the process of getting these back in. So, for example, last week we got in a bunch up at Washi, for example, and I took the opportunity to accompany the first eight kids from Washi to the Newtown Health Center to get their first shot of Pfizer. I actually took the opportunity to get my booster, so I took my shot with them to show them that, look, I'm doing it too. So I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not prepared to do myself.
Right. And I think that, and again, these policies are all put in place based on the information that the government has available and the goal that they have to try and keep the country safe.
Right, we're not trying to mandate it. Every other vaccine in St. Kitts is mandated. We don't have issues with that. When your child born at 2 months, you carry the child to the clinic and the child get a cocktail of different vaccines, and we don't have no issue with that.
Is that a cocktail for you?
But COVID is different, and we can work with it. We're not necessarily. We see Antigua next door made it mandatory, and it's a very hard line.
That was actually going to be my next question.
But we've, as a cabinet, we decided that we're not going to go down that road. Certainly not just yet, at least. And so
is there considerations for what may put that back on the table for consideration for the government? Maybe if there's a timeline and a percentage of the coverage, or is that something that's being discussed?
At this point, no, because we feel confident we've been able to encourage 80% of the target population to go and get vaccinated, and we've been able to do it. And so we want to try and continue that, as opposed to forcing people's hands, so to speak. We continue to try and encourage all teachers to go and get vaccinated, all school children to go and who are 12 and up to go and get vaccinated. Because the reality is 80% of us, the adults, have at least our first shot, 76 or 7%.
Like that.
Yeah, 73.
73 have the second shot. And so in amongst the adults, we have a fairly high level of herd immunity. But if we are to have that fourth wave that they say we will have, who you think you can lick up? I mean, the unvaccinated, which are the school children. And so we're trying to protect them as far as possible. So that is why the Ministry of Education is trying. We've given out those funds and said, look, we will take the kids for you. Just give us the permission to do so.
Yeah.
I think that helps, because one of the biggest issues that I feel like we face throughout this pandemic is education and people understanding what is happening, the vaccine-wise, the COVID as a disease itself. Like, education has been something that has been kicking people. Like, some of the things that I've heard just makes me wonder, where are they getting this information from?
But Jay, that's the problem, Where people getting information from? Too often people are not getting information from legitimate sources. I tired to ask people, where you get that from? You hear something, you say, where you get that from?
WhatsApp.
Or I get it on somebody's status. I get it on Facebook. Status is considered a legitimate source of information.
In the current climate.
If it's online,
Well,
it's true.
we live in a very sorry time then.
If it's online, it's true.
Yeah, man.
That's the
No
thing.
stats.
Will somebody please put on the status that I got a lot of money? Because since that's the case.
We're not saying that it's going to happen, to push it into existence, It's just saying,
Right. I mean, the truth about it, though, is that I think in relation to information, I know personally some of the information that I would like to see is just clear outlines of what we need to do to achieve certain things. And I think that is what's happening. So, for instance, I believe that we're having discrepancies a lot of times, even among people who have the same considerations as the government, is that we don't have the same targets in mind. So, for instance, like I'm hearing you speak about the fact that the government doesn't feel it necessary right now, at least, to have a vaccine mandate because of the success of the rollout program. And I'm hearing this conversation, and you start thinking, well, why then some of the limits that we have imposed? But then I suspect that what's happening is that we may have different targets for what should happen at different targets.
Yeah.
So perhaps if the government is in a position to just share with us what some of the targets are, what the mindset is, what the plan is, then I think that might alleviate some of the frustrations. So for instance, when you say things like 80% of the adult population vaccinated and things like that, well, people going, well, the vaccine was touted as the thing to bring us towards normalcy. And with anything, you're not going to get 100%. And
Correct.
I think
Correct.
80% in itself is to be applauded. But if 80% doesn't trigger something, and
you can't keep moving the goalposts.
Right. And so perhaps what needs to happen is some of that information in terms of what is the mindset, what is the targets, what are the things from the government to put outside. And not only that, of course, even if that come out, then that would also foster more conversation as to, well, why 80 and not 75? Why not 85, right?
Right.
And so we could have those conversations to try and bring people together some more and to alleviate some of the frustrations. Because, I mean, a lot of times, because my thing is, I'm listening to you and I'm agreeing with your stance, but I'm still not agreeing with the results, right? So perhaps it's just some disconnect in terms of where you are at and where I'm at.
Well, I think we've been trying to do that, and we've been setting different targets. But the problem with COVID is you can set all the targets you want, but it's such a fluid situation. I don't think anybody was anticipating, based on how we were going, that last wave we had that, we had like 1,000 people.
Active cases
and that sort of thing. We did say, look, when we hit 70%, we would relax certain restrictions. When we hit 80%, we relax certain restrictions. Up to this week or a few days ago, the Prime Minister would, on a program, would have been speaking about once we hit 80%, we then start to consider things like removing quarantine, for example, looking at discussions on what PCR tests are still required to be had. We talk about the ability to really open up the entertainment industry and to allow for parties and fetes and mass gatherings. And so this is where we are now. We're at 80%, and I think I'll leave you to go straight to Cabinet. I know the task force has some recommendations for us to consider. We are just about at the end of the current iteration of regulations.
New ones come out when? December 2nd, 3rd? What is it?
Yeah, today.
Second.
Right, so
Second,
we just at the end. And so we I think today Cabinet has some big decisions to make, consistent with what we've been discussing. We at the 80%. Time to free up the place a bit more. And to allow things.
And get reckless now.
I know. I'm not saying trouble at the door. So free it up a little bit more.
Man, just a little bit.
We could do a little bit more than just that. But again, we got to take everything in consideration. We could lock down and pretend and be in this bubble and say, look, we don't want a COVID in here, but at what expense? At what cost to the entertainment industry? At what cost to the tourism industry? We have asked you to vaccinate. We continue to ask because we hit 80%. Doesn't mean we're going to stop asking you. We want to get as close as possible to 100%. Right. But at some point, you have to say, well, all right, we're 80%. We're in a position where we could absorb a lot more risk. And let's do this.
Yeah, and I think that and this thing for me, Jonel, like and hearing people speak a lot of times, and not you, not the government, but the many people speak about what should happen and what shouldn't happen and thing. And I think a lot of times there seems to be there's so much to consider. I think that's the first thing. There's so much to consider, and sometimes we miss out on certain parts of the conversation. For instance, I hear people talking about, so last year we had the carnival and we had limited a crowd at the Juve. So why now is a bubble Juve? Like, and I'm saying, but you're not considering all the information. Like, we also didn't have any active cases at the time. You understand?
Correct. We didn't have vaccinations.
There was no vaccine. Yeah, but you see, even that I don't like to say, because at the same time, it does seem as though then you're holding that over people's head, right? But the reality is, like we didn't have any active cases, so the Oku would have been able to absorb a certain amount of risk, right? But the problem is sometimes it feels as though, like, again, once things push to a certain level, sometimes there's no relaxation. So we keep recognizing that as COVID evolves and as the situation evolves, as we get more information, we may have to move things to a higher level in order to avoid certain risks.
Look at this new variant that just been announced within the last week. You
mean the Alpha and Omega?
This, well, I don't know which vitamin it is now. But
Omicron?
Yeah, they skip a whole 2 letters.
Right, but when you look at England, well, for example, this morning I look at the football news and the Man United Champions League match against Young Boys might be moved to a different country because you can't go from England to Switzerland in light of this new variant. So, it keeps moving and you don't know what's coming around the corner. So, that does put a different perspective on it. But even in terms of like Juve, last year was a bubble Juve basically and it was a very small bubble.
Yeah,
but guess what?
people,
this year this year we'll be able to have a lot more people in the venue. The new entertainment rules said 75% of the venue. We going Conwy.
Right.
Conwy on the play field. I ain't saying we're going with a couple, with 5,000 people.
Right.
But at least you can see the progress from a year ago. And that's what we want to keep doing. We want to keep progressing. We want to keep involving more people in as healthy and as safer a way as possible.
Yeah, I want to see that happen as well. I think that my concern, strictly personal, my concern is that we are getting to a place where the only thing that determines whether or not you are able to participate fully is a vaccine status. And that is the thing that is very concerning to me. I encourage people all the time to go out and get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. And I do believe that is important for us. But I also do believe that cannot then be the only thing that determines so much of what we do. And again, the thing for me that is concerning is that we have not really had a discussion. This is not even a St. Kitts thing. Like worldwide, we just really have not had a discussion about, okay, at this point is ridiculous. Like, and the thing for me that makes it like real is that it might seem foolish to me now to say, but suppose somebody decide you can't go to the supermarket if you ain't vaccinated. Like, that sounds ridiculous to me. That is borderline insane. But we have seen insanity become reality, right? And so if it's insane, then feel free to say, well, this is what we're going to do. If it's so insane, then say it. And so I feel for persons who, for whatever reason, and of course sometimes it is because of fear that is stoked by misinformation. It's fear that is stoked by the unknown. It's a lot of times it is fear, right? Sometimes it's for other reasons, health and so forth. But it's unfortunate that their ability to participate fully, right, comes down to this one decision. And I believe that there must be more consideration than just that. For instance, why is racism wrong? Why is racism wrong? No, seriously, like, you ask people that question and it puzzles them, they don't really know. Like, you ask them, why is racism wrong?
Discriminating against.
But it's not just because it's discrimination. It's because we discriminate all the time.
That's true.
It's discrimination based on one particular aspect of a person's essence, like just the color of their skin. Like, that is ridiculous. You can't judge somebody based on one aspect. So I don't think it's fair to then go and then judge people on one decision. And I think a lot of times that is what's happening in society. The people who are unvaccinated, watching people vaccinated, like, oh, here's one of them, you're going to drop down in 2 years. You're going to dead in 5 years. And then you have people who watching people unvaccinated and watching them like, why you stupid? What am to you? You understand? And I don't think that's fair on either end.
I get it. But again, in life, we gotta make decisions. If you have I had this very conversation with some young people in a forum I did with them 2 weeks ago. If you're working for a company, Win FM, and Win FM comes tomorrow and says, guys, you have to wear a uniform. That's our policy. And you decide, oh, I mean, wearing a uniform, now uniform looks stupid. You then have to make a determination to either wear or not wear the uniform and to either work or not work at Win FM anymore.
Yeah.
It's a policy. WINNFM has their reasons for putting that policy in place. We could be in a room, and this is the other example used with young people. It's my personal decision whether to bathe or not, and whether to use deodorant. And I could decide, look, boy, they got chemicals in the water, so I ain't bathing. And I smell stink and dirty, and does that give me the right to come in a crowd between people and offend their sense of smell and their comfort levels because it's my personal decision? My personal
don't call the name of the
decision.
person.
No, I mean, can't. But my personal decision has an effect on the collective decision, and the collective decision must at some point in time overrule that one person.
Definitely.
And so that is how I look at it. And I'm not trying to discriminate against unvaccinated people. That is your choice for whatever your reason is. And I can't be vexed with you for making that is your personal choice. But when it comes to particular events and activities, you have to take that into context. The reasoning behind a lot of like workplaces who've put those protocols in place and say, look, all my employees have to be vaccinated. You have all these employees working in the same space for 8 hours every day. It's not like you're going to the supermarket, you spend half an hour in the supermarket by yourself pushing buying your groceries and you're gone. It's a very different context. And so we bear these things in mind. I get it. We're not trying to create any further segregation. We have enough political and other segregation in St. Kitts and Nevis that that take us where we don't need to go. But at the same time, we got to look at the greater good. I mean, nobody's saying, I don't think it's fair that my child has to be vaccinated to go to school. 99% of children in St. Kitts and Nevis have to be vaccinated to go to school by law. And nobody's challenged that law. Nobody's made any issue about it. It is mandatory vaccination.
Yeah, I get you.
We get it.
I get you.
So before I go though, the new rules for events. Yeah, you want the fire chief involved in the decision?
Listen.
No, we don't. We don't.
We don't. Bring up this,
I know there was one of the issues I wanted to bring up as well.
One of the things for me, I said, you can't. This is my thing. This is my thing.
Before you go on, all I can say is I think it's a way it just come across to y'all. But go ahead and we can have discussion.
This is my issue. As it's even before this most recent announcement, right? My issue has always been when things are left up to the discretion of a person. Like, let us create the policy. Let us create the policy that is then enforced by the powers that be. And let's operate that way. I don't like this thing where like my ability as a business owner to operate is left up to the discretion of somebody. That's my main issue.
Well, you have to, and I hope you said the same thing yesterday, but you have to understand the context of the word discretion. Yes, things are left to the discretion of in this instance, the Commissioner of Police, but he has a particular framework within which to operate. And it's exactly what you're saying it should be, except for the connotation of the word discretion. The chief of police can't get at one and decide, but I don't like Jade, so I'm approving this. There must be reasoning. There must be that checkbox.
Well, the problem is, Jonel, that pathway isn't fully laid out. So, for instance, we've had situations where persons would have felt that way, whether it's that way or not. And then the question then becomes, well, who do I then go to hear my grievance?
Right.
And that pathway doesn't exist. And
well,
so
it technically it does, but
technically in reality, technically is one thing.
It is there. If you might not know about it, but it is there. But I agree with you in terms of I think there should be more of a bit more openness. Look, there's a checklist. I think you had said it. There's a checklist, and I think that there is one. Look, there's a checklist A, B, C, D, E, and once you're able to check all of these things, you should be able to get through. No, I think where the discretion comes in is in verification of these things. And if the Commissioner of Police says, well, you check this, but you ain't really, I'm just using an example. If in this venue you need to have two exits, and you check 2 exits, and you really only have one, it is in his discretion to say, boy, no, you ain't satisfied this, so you can, and he should be able to come back and defend that decision.
But that's not discretionary. You just have not obtained what was necessary.
Well,
to
my
be able
exit
to
and your
adhere to
exit
the job.
are two different things. Maybe I use a bad example, but I'm just saying, when we say discretion, it is not so much. Well, it's who he want and who he ain't want. The guidelines within which
I think
to
it's
operate.
difficult to then it's difficult to then ignore the fact that for some reason then it seems as though nobody really has a physical or concrete copy of whatever these things are, even if it does exist.
Right.
Right,
It needs to be circulated more.
And not only that. I mean, the truth is that I would actually argue that there isn't, and so, because this is pre-COVID. This is something that has been going on pre-COVID. This thing between entertainment and the powers that be, and like it's years and generations upon generations.
I know, and I think what they're trying to do, what the minister is now trying to do, is use this opportunity to put things in place, regulate the industry, so to speak. Promoters will tell you, even before COVID, there have been issues with, you have your established promoters who put on regular events, and then you have people pop up and they create issues.
Fly by night.
Right, and they create issues for the established promoters. And so I know that these are issues that were coming up. And so this is an opportunity now for the Ministry of Moent to really address these issues. I think even the issue of discretion, you should feel a little more comfortable now because you actually have more input coming from different institutions within government. So there must be a certain consistency with it. And I know it sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's actually not that much.
I mean, but God, Jonel, the truth is, I mean, in terms of that, you cannot ignore the inefficiency of government. The truth is,
Lord, you're telling me as a man who gone from private sector to government, eh?
Yeah. So you're experiencing
pulling
it
out
now.
the little bit of here that I have.
Yeah, so and again, that is why I don't hesitate to applaud the efforts of the police force in terms of instituting the portal to try it again, right? Because that means they recognize that, hey, something wasn't right here and we need to address it, right? But then what happens now is that even with that, we know it was a step in the right direction. We knew we were realizing that, hey, but it's still an issue, but what happens now that when we start going to these new institutions that haven't had the experience that the police have had, and then we end up in the same situations again. So I think those are the things that when we see, that's why we observe it as being by just another step now, another making harder,
I think there needs to be, and there will be further engagement, because a one-off press conference or what have you is not going to do it. And there'll have to be one-on-one conversations, because not every event, not every situation is always the same. But I would make this akin to what the government has done in terms of the travel, the care and travel form. For example, that one form you have to fill out when you're coming into St. Kitts. It deals with COVID and health, it deals with immigration, it deals with customs, one shot. And that is what is being done here now. We using the opportunity to improve the standard and of what is being done. Things like sign off from police, from the fire and all that. These have always been considerations that have had to be put in place, but they've not been put in any proper structure. And so it's not that you're gonna have to go from one place to another to another to another. You go to a one-stop shop. You go there, they look at all the considerations, and then the decision is made. Now, a lot of those things in terms of say fire safety and that is pertaining to the venue itself. And so if you have a venue that is, let's say Fairview, if that is has been established as a venue for my fete, when Jade comes to do a fete in the same place next month, she don't have all those things to worry about because it's already an approved venue.
Right.
And so
So you anticipate some of those bottlenecks might actually not be
absolutely.
Okay.
I think first blush is something new, and people need to. And I know people have been frustrated. I know people been they feel shackled and they just want to bust the chains. But I think as we have more engagement, persons will understand. Look, it's really not as complicated as it might seem.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I think what's happening is that we feel as though, we have these consultations, and sometimes we leave thinking, by yeah, we're on the same page,
And the next thing you
and then
know,
in practice,
they're
then
in
you
a
kind
different book and
of
we in
yeah.
one.
So I think that's where some of the frustrations come, and so like you said, there has to be more and more talk. But I think when we do these talks, like sometimes the results and the positions need to be clearly laid out on both ends to avoid some of this
Right.
confusion moving forward. And I just want to to admonish that a lot of times what we see happening is that when things happen, and we use the term here all the time, and we are the one who coin it, but don't ever waste a good crisis. And a lot of times, the crisis, and we've seen it in COVID, the crisis has highlighted some of the issues that might have been there all along.
Right.
But now because of COVID and everything that's going on, now it's becoming like, by we gotta deal with this thing.
Yep.
Right.
And so, the little advice is that I hope that in trying to fix some of these problems and some of these things that are long-standing, we don't really just use it as an opportunity to insert ourselves into the situation.
Right.
Right? Just because it now gives us another level of control. Right? I think what's happening a lot of times, we are suffering from things being too difficult, too much red tape, things taking too much time, lack of information, this kind of thing. And so when we insert ourselves, it should be with the ultimate goal of making it easier to facilitate some of these things. And so because we have seen it time and time again where that has not been the case, that is why there's a certain level of mistrust, distrust, and anger and frustration, right? So hopefully in practice, we start seeing some of these things really fostering ease of transaction, ease of business, because I think a lot of time we don't look at certain people as businessmen, as persons who contribute to the economy in the way that they actually do.
I trust me. I get it. I get it. Try getting support for sports.
Bye. Hey, but at the same time, Jonel, you're saying that, but every community got a football field and a ball field and thing, and we still can't get one. And personally, I'm really not a big fan of this multi-purpose thing that some people, and I know you have expressed the same vision, and I'm so happy to hear you say it, brother, because it even in terms of thinking about how it would function, again, I'm not the sweetest piece of sugar cane in the field, but it's hard for me to even envision how it would function, right? So I'm very happy to hear you as a minister say that, hey, but no, the arts need its home. And things like that.
Absolutely. I am certainly left to me. If it's left to me, personally, I would not join the two together. I believe arts needs a dedicated facility, and the various sports. You could do that within sport, but I would not include arts in it. We're a small country. I know we can't have a separate everything. But in this instance, I believe that is important to have for arts to have its own home.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really happy to hear you say that. But you're talking about support for sports, but sports, as much as there's more needed, and we could talk about all the ways that we want to see improvement, indoor facilities and all them kind of things. I mean, of course, I know it's a struggle.
Yeah, and as you said, every community has a basketball court, a football field, a cricket field, and they require maintenance.
Right.
And it requires the help of the communities as well to maintain these things. Government can't just keep pouring money in. Everybody wants a big stadium in the community. It's not practical.
Right.
Mind you, at the same time, yesterday, I'm sure by now you'd have heard, we announced that we're going to be, St. Kitts Nevis will be hosting the Under-19 ICC Cricket World Cup in January.
Right.
That's because we have so many, people say, well, how little St. Kitts get in that? Because we have so many facilities.
Right.
So the investments are there, we have to make, and this is how you make the most of these investments. I just hope that this encourages a lot of our young athletes to go out and see what's happening and see that there are opportunities for them.
Yeah, but I mean, Jonel, again, time is fast spent. I know you have to go do the nation's business. They're probably over there in the cabinet, probably wondering if they need to lock it up.
No.
I hope they're listening.
I gotta keep.
But I appreciate you for taking the time out and coming and hanging out with us this morning, man.
Anytime, I listen to the show all the time. I'm a friend of the show, that's why I can message Jade and say, "What really going on here today?" I'll come in, But but I think we need more of this. We need to be able to access decision makers and persons within that grouping, and to have frank discussions and say, look, I don't like this, I like this. What's really going on with that? That's the only way we're gonna achieve that higher knowledge and education that we're talking about. That's the only way we're gonna pass on this information. We need to have more engagement like this, I think.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah. So again, on that note, really appreciate you for taking the time and coming and just talking to us, hanging out.
I ain't gonna tea again this morning.
You didn't request tea.
Every time I come in, I
expect. Here to talk. You say not want a tea.
What's the name of the show?
Huh?
Jonel, people just don't drink the tea now. We don't waste the tea.
At least give me the teacup and put some juice in it, and then a man of water, anything, man. I suppose I'm a friend of the show.
What kind of tea you like? You see there, you ain't even know.
No, I don't know if I can say that tea on the ear. But
where's
guys,
the second one? Where's the second?
Jonel ain't drink this since '93. Those are the Jonel.
But before I go, the last thing I want to say is I'm going to be making a big announcement on Wednesday.
What?
That's tomorrow, the 1st.
What?
Yeah.
I'll go into the details, but what I can say is I did give a commitment that I would look into the possibility of taking a group of young people to Dubai to witness the World Expo that is going on up there, the Dubai Expo 2020, that ends in March, the end of March. And so I will be making an announcement tomorrow,
but we could be chaperones
of December.
Giving
details on that trip. Let me put it this way: it's on.
Something happening.
It's on, and I use this opportunity to ask people to look out for the notice tomorrow. Anybody, it could be business, it could be personal. You're welcome. We invite you to chip in and help to sponsor a kid, and we're gonna take some young people to Dubai. People keep talking about this Dubai, and Dubai itself is really unique and good to see. I think what is happening in that expo is amazing, absolutely amazing, and we need to get some of our young people to be exposed and to experience that.
Yeah.
And so you can look out for that announcement tomorrow.
Okay, well, excited to hear that. I know I'm
looking for chaperones. We're looking for chaperones.
Okay.
You have to pay for yourself, but you're welcome to come. You can get some of the discounts we'll get.
Well, some of them business places
sponsor
the chaperones.
Exactly. Yeah. You can start sponsor the chaperones.
Hashtag make it to 2022 and sponsor the chaperones.
I love it.
Yeah, but hey guys, also another Island Tea exclusive. You heard it here. Wait for the official announcement tomorrow. But things happening.
Love to see it.
So Jonel, thanks again, brother.
Bless.
All right, man. But guys, we are way over time.
Boy, I can hear them.
I got people waiting on me, Jade.
Me too.
So I got.
But he only 3, so he really.
Oh.
Yeah, he really too. Too upset. He ain't gonna be too upset.
I got you. Bobby Bailey, when you go home, you good?
Yeah, man. No, he only wants to see me.
But guys, it's been a pleasure. No long lot of talking today. It's been great. Thank you guys for logging on. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Again, thanks to the Honorable Jonel Powell for coming through and talking to us for a bit. But guys, stay safe out there. Remember, we're still on mission, make it to 2022. Remember to spend more time living your content than posting it. And you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. See you guys tomorrow.